Where does true thanksgiving to God come from? It's not simply gratitude that we feel for the blessings that He is giving us. It's an overflow of joy and love that comes from a saving knowledge of His glory. Psalm 100, 4-5 proclaims, "Enter His gates with thanksgiving and His courts with praise. Give thanks to Him, bless His name, for the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and His faithfulness to all generations." Note that the psalmist does not tell us to give God praise or thanks because His blessings are good, but because He is good. Also, this is not the product of our faithfulness, but His. It's important to grasp the distinction between thanking God for His blessings and being thankful for His goodness and faithfulness. The reason is very simple. We may not always be able to immediately understand His blessings, and this may lead us to misunderstand God's infinite goodness and His love for those who believe in Him through their faith in Christ. During those times when we may face unspeakable and seemingly unsurpassable hardships, opposition, grief, and trials of many kinds, our good and faithful God has given us the eternal promise that He will never forsake us, has made His glory known to us, and that His faithfulness will remain with us forever. This has given so many before us the boldness to proclaim God's goodness and their love for Him, even during times of adversity. Although it's easy for us as Christians to agree with this, we may often find ourselves lacking the joy needed to love, praise, and glorify God as He created us to do. He has fully expressed the abundance of His love for us in the life, death, and resurrection of His Son for our eternal glorification, and He's given us the faith to believe and accept this through His infinite grace and the counsel of His Spirit to keep us from the snare of evil. Why then do we lack the ability to take up our cross and to seek the things that are above rather than setting our minds on things that are on earth? The reason is that although we have been saved from the penalty of sin, we have not yet been saved from the presence of sin. Our minds and hearts are still highly vulnerable to the innumerable desires and distractions that the world offers. We quickly find ourselves consumed by these things. Our worship and gratitude to God may become conditional on our level of comfort and worldly satisfaction. Paul appeals to the Romans for this reason in Romans 12. The first two verses say, "I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." Only God can create in us a heart that truly and deeply loves Him and that overflows with joy at the thought of eternity spent in His glorious presence. We're not left helpless in the matter, though. Rather, we are tasked to seek Him out with a determination that He will certainly renew for us. Dear friends, if you find that your heart is not going after Jesus as it should, do not allow yourselves to be discouraged. Rather, go boldly to your Father in heaven with daily petitions to ignite in you a renewed love and zeal for His glory. Seek Him through a daily study and devotion to His Word, which has been given to us all to explain the depth of His great glory and love. Finally, seek out the fellowship of other believers to be encouraged and held accountable to all that has been given to you. Live your life as a living sacrifice to the God who created you, loves you, and will never forsake you. Live your life gratefully in spiritual worship, knowing what has been done for you, so that when others see you, they see Christ.